Yo, so Stefon Diggs is losing it right now. And I'm not talking about a little frustrated. I'm not talking about being in his feelings. I'm talking about full-blown rage. This man just got dumped by Cardi B in the most public, humiliating way possible. And instead of taking the L quietly, instead of reflecting on what he did wrong, he's out here lashing out like a man who cannot accept that he fumbled the biggest blessing of his life. And the way he's going about this, the things he's allegedly saying, the energy he's putting out, it's making him look worse by the second. So we're about to break down exactly what Stefon is doing, why he's so mad, what he's saying about Cardi, and why this rage is actually revealing everything we need to know about who he really is. Alright, so let's set the context real quick. February 8th, 2026, Super Bowl Sunday. The Patriots lose to the Seahawks 29-13. Stefon plays terribly. His baby mama Kiki is posting from the game with their son. Another woman, Pri, is allegedly at the Super Bowl with Patriots access. Reports surface that Stefon allegedly snuck someone into his hotel room hours after the loss. Cardi gives him that ice-cold good luck before the game, leaves the stadium early, and by the next morning, they've unfollowed each other on Instagram. A source confirms to Entertainment Tonight they broke up. Cardi posts "done" and moves on with her life like Stefon never existed. Now, for most people, that would be the end of the story. Take the L, learn the lesson, move forward. But Stefon? Nah. Stefon is not built like that. Because according to multiple sources and reports that have been circulating, Stefon Diggs is furious that Cardi dumped him. Like genuinely angry that she had the audacity to walk away. And the way this rage is manifesting is actually wild, because it's showing a side of him that a lot of people suspected but hadn't fully seen yet. So here's what's being reported. In the days immediately following the breakup, Stefon was allegedly calling and texting Cardi non-stop. We're talking dozens of messages, back-to-back calls, the kind of obsessive contact that screams desperation. And Cardi? She was leaving him on red, blocking his number, completely ignoring every attempt. She made it clear she was done, and she meant it. But Stefon couldn't accept that. Sources say he started going through mutual friends, trying to get them to talk to Cardi on his behalf, trying to get her to just hear him out. And when that didn't work, when Cardi made it clear through her friends that there was nothing to hear out, that's when the rage really kicked in. According to people who've spoken to outlets covering this story, Stefon started saying some pretty nasty things about Cardi in private conversations. We're talking about him allegedly calling her dramatic, saying she overreacted, claiming she never really supported him the way she claimed to, suggesting that she was using their relationship for publicity. And the audacity of these statements is actually mind-blowing when you consider what actually happened. This is the same woman who showed up to every single Patriots game in the freezing cold. The same woman who defended him publicly when those strangulation charges dropped. The same woman who had his baby and invested everything into supporting his career. And now he wants to act like she was the problem, but it gets worse. There are reports that Stefon has been telling people in his circle that Cardi embarrassed him by leaving the Super Bowl early and unfollowing him publicly. That she made him look bad in front of the whole world. And I'm sitting here like, bro, you embarrassed yourself. You had multiple baby mamas at the Super Bowl. You allegedly cheated in your hotel room. You fumbled on the biggest stage in American sports. Cardi didn't do anything to you except have enough self-respect to walk away when you showed her exactly who you were. But in Stefon's mind, somehow he's the victim in this situation. What's really telling about this rage is what it reveals about his mindset. Because when a man gets angry that you left, instead of reflecting on why you left, that tells you everything. It shows he never really valued you as a person with feelings and boundaries. He valued you as something he possessed, something he controlled. And the moment you exercise your agency, the moment you choose yourself, he can't handle it. That's not love, that's ownership. And Cardi refusing to be owned is what's driving Stefon absolutely crazy right now. Sources also say that Stefon has been particularly upset about Cardi's Little Miss Drama tour. The fact that she's out there performing, thriving, looking incredible, getting standing ovations every night, that's eating him alive. Because in his mind, she was supposed to be at home devastated. She was supposed to be crying over him, begging him to come back, falling apart without him. But instead, she's literally on a stage in front of thousands of people, showing the entire world that she doesn't need him to be successful, doesn't need him to be happy, doesn't need him for anything. And that level of unbotheredness is apparently driving Stefon to absolute madness. There are even reports that Stefon tried to show up at one of Cardi's tour stops. Multiple sources claim he attempted to get backstage, tried to see her in person, and was shut down by her security team. Can you imagine the audacity? He thinks he can just show up unannounced after everything he did, and she's supposed to what? Drop everything and talk to him? Nah. Cardi's team had that locked down tight. She's on her tour, she's getting her money, she's focusing on her craft and her kids, and she's not about to let him disrupt any of that. Now here's where the rage gets really toxic. According to insiders, Stefon has allegedly been talking to people about how Cardi wasn't even that great of a girlfriend anyway, that she was too controlling, too jealous, too demanding. And I'm like, you mean she had boundaries? You mean she expected loyalty and respect? You mean she communicated what she would and wouldn't tolerate? Because that's not being controlling. That's being a woman who knows her worth. But Stefon is trying to rewrite history, trying to make it seem like Cardi was the problem, like her standards were too high, like she was asking for too much, when really all she wanted was basic human decency and fidelity. What makes this even more pathetic is that people close to Stefon are reportedly telling him to let it go, to move on, to focus on his legal issues and his career. But he's apparently not listening. He's stuck in this cycle of anger and bitterness because he can't accept that he lost. And not just lost the Super Bowl, though that's part of it. He lost Cardi. He lost the relationship. He lost the narrative. Because the entire internet is on Cardi's side. Everyone sees exactly what happened. Everyone knows he fumbled. And no amount of rage or revisionist history is going to change that. There's also been some really interesting social media activity that people have been analyzing. Stefon has been liking posts about toxic women, about men being taken advantage of, about relationships being one-sided. He's clearly trying to paint himself as the victim through his social media behavior without actually saying anything directly. But the internet sees through it. People are in the comments of these posts clowning him, reminding him that he had 4 babies with 4 different women in 1 year, that he had multiple women at the Super Bowl, that he allegedly cheated. And here's what really gets me about this rage. Stefon had every opportunity to do right by Cardi. She told him from the beginning what her boundaries were. She communicated clearly what she needed from the relationship. She gave him her trust, her support, her body, a whole baby, and he chose to violate all of that. He chose to have multiple women at the Super Bowl. He chose to allegedly cheat in his hotel room. Those were his choices. And now that he's facing the consequences of those choices, now that Cardi has decided she deserves better, he wants to be mad? He wants to rage? That's not how this works. What's also wild is how different Cardi's response has been compared to Stefon's. While he's out here allegedly raging, calling her names, trying to rewrite history, trying to make himself the victim, Cardi has said absolutely nothing publicly. Not one word. Not one subliminal post. Not one interview addressing it. She just unfollowed him, posted "done," and moved on with her life. She's letting her actions speak for her. She's on tour, killing it. She's posting about self-love and protecting your peace. She's showing up for her kids. She's thriving. And that silence, that unbothered energy, that's more powerful than anything she could say. Because here's the truth that Stefon can't accept. Cardi doesn't owe him an explanation. She doesn't owe him a conversation. She doesn't owe him closure. She saw what she needed to see, made her decision, and moved on. That's her right. And the fact that he's so angry about it just proves she made the right choice. Because a man who truly loved her, who truly valued her, would be devastated but respectful. He would take accountability, give her space, and work on becoming better. But a man who's just angry that he lost control, that's exactly the kind of man you need to stay away from. People online have been having a field day with Stefon's alleged meltdown. The memes are ruthless. One viral post said, "Stefon Diggs mad that Cardi left, like he didn't have a whole roster at the Super Bowl." Another said, "Imagine fumbling Cardi B and then being mad that she walked away. The delusion is real." The internet is not here for his rage, because everyone can see exactly what this is. This is a man who thought he could have his cake and eat it too, who thought Cardi would just tolerate whatever he did because of who he is, and now he's big mad that she had enough self-respect to leave. And honestly, this rage is probably the best thing that could have happened for Cardi, because it's showing her and everyone else that she made the absolute right decision. A man who rages when you leave instead of reflecting on why you left is not a man capable of growth. He's not a man who's going to change. He's not a man who's going to suddenly start respecting you if you go back. He's a man who thinks you owe him your presence regardless of how he treats you. So at the end of the day, Stefon Diggs can rage all he wants. He can call her names in private. He can try to rewrite history. He can like posts about toxic women. He can tell himself whatever story he needs to sleep at night. But the truth is crystal clear. He had a real one, and he fumbled. And now he's mad that the real one was real enough to walk away. That's on him. That's his L to carry. And Cardi is out here living her best life, thriving, showing the world exactly what it looks like when you choose yourself over someone who doesn't deserve you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.